What's up, YouTube? So today's video we're going to talk about our intermittent fasting routine. We've actually been doing this for some time, haven't we, Sarah?
Hey, I don't know when it started.
I think we started in May. Not this past May though. May of 2016?
Probably.
I think that's right. So we've been doing this for a while. So
You can hear him playing.
I hear a squirrel out here.
He's trying to get the acorns.
The acorns are coming down, winter's coming soon. So we typically fast from 7 or 8 p.m. and we don't eat the next day until 12 p.m. Now somebody's probably thinking, what are you guys, crazy? I thought you guys were health nuts. Don't you want to get all 3 meals in the day? Don't you want to make sure your body is properly fueled, you have enough calories, you have enough energy? Isn't breakfast the most important meal of the day? Well, there's a lot of things we've been told. We've been told milk's healthy all our lives.
That's a lie.
Yeah, that's a lie. There's a lot of myths out there that are commonly said to people. Breakfast, guys, that was spread by the cereal industry. That's all it was spread by. Is it the most important meal? I don't know. I think the only time you really should be avoid eating is before bed, truly. Other than that, I don't know if it matters so much. So, intermittent fasting. We've been doing it for a while. Something we used to not do. If you think about it, we never really get a break from digesting. Your body, if you're a person that gets up at 6 in the morning and you go to bed at 10, 11 o'clock at night and you eat as soon as you get up and you even eat a little snack before bed, your digestion is never stopping. I mean, literally, it takes
8 hours?
8 hours.
More?
I've heard 10 hours before.
I think it's more. Like more
8 to 10 hours to fully digest all your food. So
certain foods digest quicker. So like watermelon's gonna digest quicker
yeah.
than oatmeal.
But something like avocados or something, or fats, those might take more like 10 hours. So you never actually stop digesting if you eat from when you get up to when you go to bed, and your only fast is when you sleep. That might sound crazy, intermittent fasting. If you wanting to do it, my suggestion would be to start your breakfast at 10 and finish eating dinner by 6. That'd probably be one of the best ways to do it. Or maybe start at 11 a.m., finish by 7 p.m. That way, in the middle of your fast, you're sleeping, you get up, maybe you're hungry for a few hours, and then if you're done eating by 6 or 7 and you get to bed by 10, 11 o'clock, you shouldn't be too hungry before bed.
No.
As long as you have a nice big dinner. So we've been doing it. It's supposed to have anti-aging benefits. You wanna explain that, Sarah?
Well, it increases human growth hormone. Which I really don't understand exactly what that is, to be honest.
You guys gotta check out the video by Marcus Rothkranz. It's got almost 3 million views. Vegan strongman eats 1 meal a day. If you Google it, it'll come up, or YouTube it. It's got almost 3 million views. It's a really good video, actually.
For your body to digest food, it takes a lot of energy, and it takes, so like, say when you're exercising or when you're working your heart and lungs, when you're doing something in your fight or flight mode, your body is gonna divert the energy from digesting food to do that specific task.
Oh yeah.
So like when you're working out, when you're doing things, your body can't digest anything.
Right.
So it takes a lot for your body to digest. When you get up in the morning, you want to make sure that your body is completely done digesting and wait a while, because it will, once it stops digesting, it can start to eliminate toxins from your body, and it can eliminate dead cells, dying cells. And
once it's done digesting.
Yeah, but so if your body's continually digesting, it never has a chance to start healing your body. Because like, say if you're sick and you're not hungry when you're sick, right? Because your body is a natural instinct, because your body wants to heal itself, because it doesn't want you to feed it. All it wants is to not eat anything and to just work on healing your body.
Yep. That's why nobody eats when they're sick, because your body is focusing on trying to heal itself when you're sick.
It's a natural response for your body to want to heal itself.
And it's hard to do that because it takes a lot of energy when you're digesting food. So when you're fasting, then if you're doing fasting, then your cells are actually being able to rejuvenate, and your old cells are being able to die and flush out. So that's an anti-aging benefit it does have, letting your old cells die and letting new cells rejuvenate, and that's part of the aging process. That's anti-aging is something I really, really want to study if I ever get a chance to look it up. Like, I don't want to spend 2 hours on it. I mean, I want to spend days researching it. So yeah, we typically break our fast about noon. We'll eat till about 7, 8 o'clock. You know, some days life's crazy. It'll be, maybe I'll eat at 2 and we'll quit eating by 6. What is nice about it is you can if you do something where you eat in just a 4, 6, 8 hour window, especially if it's like 4 hours, I mean, you can just eat a lot. You can eat like a king. You can feast if you're trying to get in 2,000 calories. And it could help with weight control too. So let's say you eat in a 6 hour window, noon to 6. It's going to be harder to smash in 3,000 calories in a 6 hour window. So absolutely it can help with weight loss. And calories in, calories out, I don't believe it 100%. I'll tell you why in a future video. I mean, not to say that there's no truth to it.
There's some truth to it.
I mean, obviously, if I were to go a week without fasting, I'm going to lose some kind of weight. There's no calories building on me. Anybody is when they go on a week-long fast. It's going to happen. So there is some truth. I think the body's a little more complicated than that. Future video, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
See, it has some anti-aging benefits. Again, our bodies are never not digesting food, and our digestive system needs a break. You say you get it when you sleep, but you really don't.
No.
It's not until the next morning when you're done that it's finally getting its little rest in. Break it up in the middle if you want to do it. Start eating at 10, 11, 12 o'clock. Finish by 6, 7, 8 o'clock. That way a couple hours in the morning you're not eating, and a couple hours at night after. So you shouldn't be too starving if you do it. And I mean, intermittent fasting, eating from noon to 8 is not fasting. Like,
no.
It's 16 hours without food.
And I think it's just our world that people get so tied up in this. Oh, well, you're going to, like, die if you don't eat for a couple hours. Like, come on, give me a break.
Fine. I've seen people say, well, I don't know if it's healthy to go more than 6 hours without food. It absolutely, as long as you're nourishing and giving it proper nutrition, it's definitely healthy to go 6 hours without food.
The thing is, too, your body doesn't need, like, fuel every hour. Like, you give something to your body, it's going to nourish yourself for, like, you can nourish yourself for a couple of days. Yeah. Your body's fueled off that nutrition.
I mean, you know, after 12 hours, your carbs will deplete. You'll start burning fat as a fuel source more, and it can do that. And it might sound crazy, it might sound dangerous, but if you guys think about it, this is probably the first century in all of history and all of humanity where we haven't gone through famines. I mean, okay, there are people today that go through famines, but in our generalized world, if you're watching YouTube, you're probably not starving. You're probably not going through a famine if you're watching this video right now. You've probably had food within the last 10 hours, most likely, if you're watching this. So our ancestors have always fasted. It's not until this century that we've had it. And that's a good thing. That's good.
They talk about it in the Bible a lot. Like, if you read the Bible, it talks about fasting a ton.
All the time. So, I mean, it's great that we have an overabundance of food and that we can always be nourished and get nutrition in, but it's something our ancestors never knew of this. I mean, I'm sure kings and stuff were able to eat all the time.
For 40 days.
Yeah, you can. And I think the record for fasting is 370 days. The guy lost over 200 pounds, and I think he was put on supplements. And I'd have to look more into that story, but I think that's the record, is 370 days. 16 hours you can handle. Unless you're really skinny, you can probably go a couple days without food at least. Eventually, I'd like to do a video more on the benefits of intermittent fasting. We have read some, we have watched some benefits of intermittent fasting. I would have to have the notes in front of me and review them, research it again. But yeah, our typical routine, 12 to 7, 8. I always try to be done by 8. I think it's always good to be done eating 2 to 3 hours before bed, because as we mentioned, it takes a lot of energy to digest food, and your body needs to focus on rest, not digesting all this food. Dr. Mercola has some articles on, he advises being done eating food at least 3 hours before bed to prevent mitochondria dysfunction. I don't really know much about it, but he mentions that in his articles. So that'd be the best time to stop eating is 2-3 hours before bed. Just you don't need that.
Also, too, like our ancestors didn't always eat 3 meals a day.
No, I'm sure there's times they did.
I'm sure they did, but it wasn't always the structured meals like we have in this
Yeah.
day and age. It was very different.
Yeah. Like in our world today, you eat at 7 a.m., you eat at 12 p.m., you eat at 7 p.m., you eat a snack before bed, you get your 3 or 4 o'clock snack in, you know.
And they ate more with the seasons. Like in the summer, they ate more fresh fruits
Yeah.
and vegetables. And I mean, when their fruit was in season, they probably ate a lot of it. And they probably just ate all kinds of fruit and vegetables.
Right.
And in the winter, they ate more things that lasted, like potatoes and
Mm-hmm.
yams.
Apples
and,
last a long time.
You know.
And animal products. Well, if it's survival, that's about the only excuse I have for veganism is if you need it for survival. But in our modern world, you don't need it for survival.
I think that they have looked at more like cultures and like things like that, and the things that last too, like potatoes and rice. I think that those things last. Like so cultures can survive off that kind of stuff, stuff, and like they preserve stuff back then.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
canning and all that stuff. That's been around forever.
Yeah. Fermenting
stuff. So they survived. I don't think our ancestors fasted much in summer months.
No.
I mean, I think our ancestors. I think they just did feast and famine cycles. Is what they did. They have blueberries are in season, apples are in season. Go to town and stuff your face. But you know, it's the middle of January, February. There's nothing growing outside. They might be fasting for 3 days or a week, and then they might kill their cow and eat that for a day or a couple days or a couple weeks, and then fast again and wait for spring and summer to come so they can start eating again. At least if you're in America, you have pretty much any food you want.
Yeah.
That's great, but our ancestors didn't have this luxury, and I think that's why this fasting is so foreign to us.
Yeah.
But our topic is more on intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting absolutely is safe. I think everybody should go a minimum of 12 hours fasting every day.
Yeah.
Like, no excuses. Everybody should be fasting 12 hours. Your digestion needs a rest. If you're sleeping 8 hours a night, that isn't hard to fast for 12 hours.
No.
If you go to bed at 10 o'clock and you get up at 6 in the morning, that's not hard at all. Quit eating by 7 p.m. You don't eat the last 3 hours. You get up at 6 and then wait till 7 a.m. to eat. You know, not everybody always eats the second they wake up, too.
No.
12 hours is not a hard fast to do. 16 hours can be a little challenging.
It's not that hard, though.
Or 18 can be. You get used to it, though, because we've been doing it for a while.
You just kind of adapt.
I think I can tell when my body's about done digesting because, I don't know, at least for me, when it's the 12-hour mark, I can just feel my stomach starting to get really hungry sometimes. I don't know if you ever have that. I think it's like finishing the digesting phase. It's like, oh, there's no more food.
And then it's like, okay, now it's time to heal.
It just takes a little discipline to do it. Don't have any strategies or tips. It just takes discipline.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I have any more advice. We want to do more of these videos in the future, actually look at scholarly articles. Dr. Greger is currently looking into this. He's going to have some videos on it. I am much looking forward to them because there's supposed to be a lot of benefits to fasting. And I've read and watched videos on it before. I can't remember it all. This is just intermittent fasting 101.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Subscribe down below.
Subscribe down below. Recipes every Sundays, various topics, vlogs, whatever on Thursdays, and we'll see you in the next video, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.